What's going on, Team Nerd Herd Podcast? It's your boy Steve, aka Hip Hop Sin Me, and I'm your host with the most tonight. But enough about me. Team Nerd Herd Podcast, we have a special guest in our studio tonight. Now, you might have seen some of his earlier work with Liberty Meadows. You might have seen some of his work with Marvel. Titles like Savage Wolverine, Mighty Avengers, and my favorite, Shanna the She-Devil. Rrrr. You might have seen also some DC covers like in Harley Quinn. And just last week, the Punchline One Shot just came out and he had a cover on that as well. If you're really into independent, then you know some of his character-owned books like Skyborn, down to the cherry on top with AWA Upshot's Fight Girls. Not only is he the writer, but he's also the artist, and I can't wait to ask him about that book. Team Nerd Herd, give him a round of applause and a warm welcome. The one, the only, Frank Cho.
All right.
Hey guys.
How's it going, Frank?
I'm doing good. My heater broke, so that's why I'm wearing a scarf. It's kind of chilly in my house right now. It's like 65 degrees. I'm getting it fixed in the morning, so don't worry about it.
No problem at all.
We definitely want to say forward fashion, Frank. Most def. Thank you for attending the show. We really appreciate it, and the Team Nerd Herd viewers also appreciate it. They're big fans.
Oh, don't thank me. Thank my manager, Steve Morger. He was twisting my arms to get on the show.
Steve, thank you.
For sure.
Yeah.
So I'm just curious. You're in Maryland now, correct?
Right. I live just outside of Baltimore.
Nice.
Just south of it, right by Columbia, Maryland.
So is the blue crab as good as they say it is?
Oh, hell yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean, I got to ask. I'm a fat kid. Dungeness crab is my thing.
Right.
So I have to ask.
Yeah.
So have you always been from Baltimore, or?
I was born in Korea, South Korea. And then I came over when I was 6. And since then, I pretty much lived in Maryland. Not too far from Baltimore all my life.
Very nice.
So how did you break down, or how did you kind of get into comic books? And we'd like to know, what is your origin story? Like how did you start off?
So I started drawing as a kid, and I never stopped. And I drew for the school paper in college. Went to nursing school, so I drew for the Diamondback, which was a University of Maryland student newspaper. It's a daily newspaper, 5 days a week. And so that's where I started doing University Square, which was a precursor to Liberty Meadows.
Right.
And then next thing I know, I won like the best college. I won the best college cartoonist of like 93, I think 93 or 94, and that led into a syndication deal. And I was going to nursing school at the time. So I graduated from nursing school, got my bachelor degree in nursing, and then literally that night went straight into my room and start doing Liberty Meadows for syndication. And then I did that for 5 years, and I just quit. I just couldn't handle the censorship in the newspaper market. So I quit with no job lined up or anything. And then I was at Image for a short period of time, collecting Liberty Meadows as a comic book. And then Axel Alonso at Marvel recruited me, hired me to revamp Shanna the She-Devil. And then next thing I know, I'm at Marvel for 14 years.
Wow.
And then until Disney bought Marvel and then pretty much got rid of all the exclusive creator contract. They just got rid of all of that. And then I went straight, and then I got picked up by DC, within the week. And then I did Wonder Woman covers, which caused a big uproar.
And still then, great covers.
Beautiful covers.
I still don't understand why. I have no idea why.
Well, it's just like difference of opinion. and then I went from Wonder Woman straight into Harley Quinn, and I was at Harley Quinn for, about about like 75 covers, I think, or 70
Wow.
to 70 to 75 covers.
Oh, so that's a long run.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then now here I am, and which is kind of weird because like I don't have any work from Marvel or DC since the whole COVID layoff and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So first time since 2003, I don't have any work waiting for me for Marvel or DC. So it's kind of weird.
That's crazy.
What,
I haven't heard that name Axel Alonso in a long time either.
Actually, Axel is the editor-in-chief and publisher at AWA.
Oh, okay.
That's the company that I'm doing Fight Girls for.
So what exactly is Fight Girls?
Fight Girls is God, I don't want to give too much away.
Oh, come on.
It
Tell me-
has,
Can you tell me if there's Jello in there?
yeah.
Mud.
There is great bodies, I must say.
There are 10
Beautiful
hot
bodies.
women. So essentially, the queen of this Gilmore Empire has to abdicate because she was proven barren and she couldn't
Okay.
produce a royal heir. So in the old charter or whatever constitution, they say if a queen can't bear any kid, a new queen will be picked among these like the fairest and the strongest and the smartest women from the empire are gathered, and they're going to compete for the vacant queen's throne. And whoever wins, there will be like 4 challenges, and if they win, whoever's left will become the new queen. And so that's the basic setup. But there's like all these twists and turns, so it's like a lot of double dealing and a lot of action, but a lot of
Oh, I cannot
backhand.
wait.
So a lot of political intrigue and all that. And at the end, there's like a wicked twist that people are not going to see coming. So I wrote this story about 10 years ago. I mean, I actually have about a dozen stories that I've written in the last 20 years since college that I've been sitting on. So Fight Girl is one of them. Skyborn was another one. Zombie King. So once I finish Fight Girls, probably going to do Russian Red. War Witch, World of Pain, Autumn. So I got all these like stories all lined up.
Wow.
That's cool.
Wow.
That I just have to like,
Cool.
just
Are-
start writing and drawing.
So are you going to be drawing? Okay, so you've written all of these stories already. Are you going to be drawing all of them too? Or are you going to have someone else help you?
So Autumn, I decided that Autumn will be published by Image Comics. So I've hired an artist to draw it for me, and is Axel Medlin. He's the guy who did Elephant Man.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So he's the same guy that did 50 Girls 50.
Oh, that's awesome.
Way back when, about 10 years ago. So I hired him to draw Autumn for me. So I'm going to do like the bookend. So I'm going to write and draw the, the introduction sequence and then the last sequence. So Autumn was created and written by my writing partner, Tom Zagosky.
Mm-hmm.
He's a novelist. So Tom and I, we're doing 3 projects together: World of Pain, Autumn, and War Witch. Those 3 stories that we're doing, he and I are co-writing. And all the other one, like Russian Red, I'm writing and drawing it myself. What's the other one? Cadillacs and Dinosaur, not Cadillacs and Dinosaur, Guns and Dinos. I'm going to finish that up. And God,
I was gonna say Cadillacs and Dinosaurs. I thought it was old cartoon.
right. God, I'm having a brain fart. But I got like about like a dozen stories that I'm gonna
Publish.
Oh.
Okay. Cool.
jump onto.
So
No,
are you?
Oh, sorry. Will
I was gonna
these
say.
be?
Go
Go
ahead,
ahead.
sir.
You want a Rochambeau? No.
No.
I was going to ask, will these future titles, you said you brought up Image, will they also will they all be with Image, or are they going to be some with AWA Upshot?
No, so Fight Girl is with AWA, Autumn, War Witch, and World of Pain. That's going to be with Image. Russian Red, I have no idea who. And Guns and Dinos, I don't know who. And God, there's another title that I'm just... Oh, Coffin Maker's Daughter. I don't know who's going to do that.
Now that sounds... I like the title of that.
Right.
So it sounds like it's a kind of like a mix of everything. Like you're really dabbling into like different genres, right?
Well, yeah, it's actually pretty fun because I grew up reading superhero books, and none of these are superhero books. They're all basically fantasy, horror, and action. You know, the Russian Red will probably going to be my next project that I'm going to be writing and drawing right after Fight Girls. So that one I originally wrote it as a movie, and because it takes place in Baltimore, it's basically it's going to open up like a Law and Order, police, like a police drama,
like The Wire.
I was gonna say The Wire.
And then it's just gonna just like segue into like what the fuck moment, and it's just gonna get just, you think it's one thing, but it takes a wicked turn, and you're like, what the hell's going on,
That is the best kind of writing. It leaves you on a cliffhanger and just takes you from one train of thought all the way to the other.
Oh.
That's just what makes a real rich book.
Right. Well, that's what I do. I tend to like mix genres to kind of like throw people off. And so when I write things, I write backward. So I would have the ending first. I write the ending first. And then from there, I try to steer the story into that ending. Okay. And so like a lot of people... like people ask me how do you write stuff, and I say I do it backward, and then I hate editors that will try to change the ending, and I'm like, no, you can't change the ending, because ending is always the most important to me in the story, because I write backward. I start with the ending, and then
That's how the idea got started, with your ending, then you work so backwards. Okay.
Yeah, pretty for the most part. Every now and then I would get like flashes of images, like scenes in my mind. And then I write it all down and try to figure it out. It's like a jigsaw puzzle. Try to piece it all together every now and then. But usually I have a strong ending in mind. And then go from there. That's what happened with Fight Girls. I started with the ending first. And then all the story just kind of wrote itself once that ending was, established.
So that's cool, because you usually hear people have the beginning and the ending, and they're trying to figure out that middle part.
Right.
And it makes so much more sense not having a beginning and just kind of working backwards, because you're not trying to fit everything into this jar.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well, that's the thing. I mean, when you're writing, you can't fall in love with your ideas. If it doesn't work, you have to throw it out. I mean, you don't try to shoehorn it, try to force it in. Because then it will screw up the entire story. So there are many times where I had like a really great scene that just didn't fit into the overall story, and you have to just cut it. So those are always heartbreaking, but for the overall success of the story, you have to sometimes cut things out.
So looking at a clear palette, do you listen to any music to inspire you? In kind of building, setting that mood and setting the tone to a story that you're kind of dealing with, or is there a different approach that you kind of take as far as like music's concerned?
So when I'm writing, it has to be completely silent.
Okay.
I can't have any noise. But once I finish writing and once I'm start drawing, I usually have music or audiobook on. Or even television, usually some like really talkative TV show where I don't have to look up all the time. Like Law and Order. I love Law and Order.
Oh yeah, it's a classic.
All right, and I love all these like sitcoms. And actually, I love like stand-up comedy when I'm drawing.
Who's your favorite? Who's your favorite comedian at this moment?
God, I just went through a whole entire run of Bill Burr.
Oh my God! Yeah, Bill Burr is so hilarious.
Bill Burr and
one of the greats for sure.
And what's his name? Jeffries.
Oh, Jim Jeffries.
Yeah, Jim Jeffries.
Yeah, he's really wrong. Yeah.
Oh, he's funny as hell.
I saw what's his name? The small Kevin Hart just put up a new one.
Yeah, he just came out.
Watch.
Is it any good? I haven't listened
don't
to
know.
any. I haven't listened to any Kevin Hart stuff.
Yeah,
his
he's
other
really
stuff
funny.
is pretty good.
Right.
I really like him and Leslie, the girl from Ghostbusters on Saturday Night Live. Leslie something. I can't think of the big African American lady. She's hilarious too.
I didn't know she did stand-up comedy.
Oh yeah, if you look on Netflix and find it, I can't remember the lady's last name, but she's hysterical. She'll make you cry.
And I was listening to Dave Chappelle.
Oh,
Chappelle.
Dave Chappelle is one of my all-time favorites.
Can't go wrong with him, the master. Pretty much.
Yeah, just such a mind, and then enough to take you there.
Right. So, yeah. So but music-wise, I listened to everything. For a while, I was listening to a lot of bluegrass. Show tunes. I actually listened to a lot of show tunes. I don't know why. I love show tunes.
Any specific artist for bluegrass?
It just started with the when Old Brother Where Art Thou soundtrack came out.
Oh yeah.
I just couldn't get enough of it.
Wow.
And then from there, I started, kind of branching out to the different artists. I can't tell you,
names.
Yeah. A lot of freaking banjos.
Down.
Exactly. You don't want to hear that banjo though.
Right.
Yeah. No deliverance, please.
Yeah. Actually, and then I went through like a long Johnny Cash phase where I just went through a shitload of Johnny Cash.
Very cool.
Was it because of the movie with Joaquin Phoenix?
No. Actually, I got into Johnny Cash long before that. I mean, I was a big Elvis fan, and then went to Johnny Cash for some reason. It was kind of weird. It's like Elvis, Johnny Cash, like Beatles and Johnny Cash.
Those are all classics.
Well, that makes sense. They came up together, so it's like they came from the same area. So
yeah.
One thing that I don't listen to at all gives me a headache is rap. I don't like rap.
You like hip hop, huh?
Right.
I can understand that.
I get it.
Yeah.
See, I'm a Zeppelin man myself.
Right. It's weird because like when I was growing up in the 80s, I didn't listen to any of the 80s music. But now I listen to a lot of 80s music. It's fucking
nostalgia, right?
What?
Well, it's nostalgic.
Yeah. So in the 80s, I was listening to Beatles, Elvis and Beatles, and all the 50s. 50s doo-wop and the 60s, 60s stuff.
Or Motown, all that stuff.
No, I didn't really get into Motown.
Or more rock. Is that what you said in the 60s?
Yeah, it was more Jimi Hendrix kind of type stuff.
Okay.
Jimi Hendrix, Jefferson Airplane.
Probably
More
psychedelic kind of stuff.
Fillmore. Yeah.
Cream, stuff like that.
Right. The Animals,
Yeah.
And Creedence.
Oh yeah, Creedence. Gotta love Creedence.
And then and then in the 80s, I just went into Elvis, Beatles, and Johnny Cash and stuff like that, and then
all the classics,
and then it's just kind of like now it's funny as hell because like now I listen to all the 80s stuff that was popular, like Madonna, Michael Jackson,
Prince.
There's no shame in that.
Prince.
You're catching up.
Yeah, it's weird, and then my music taste kind of stopped in the mid 90s.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Anything beyond mid 90s and up, I don't care or recognize, except for like really big ones,
Yeah. Yeah, it's hard to kind of really pick good artists as so much stuff is coming out. You kind of weed it down, and you have your pockets of different type of music that you kind of select.
It's actually pretty fun because like my musical taste kind of like stopped, or I just stopped caring for music once I hit my late 20s, early 30s.
Mm-hmm.
After that, it's like the new music that was coming out is like I don't care. I don't want to listen to it. You know what I'm saying? It's bizarre, you know.
No, we all get there. There's a moment in my life when I just like stop listening to new music. I'll hear whatever's popular, but
right,
I really don't follow like I used to when I was young.
Right, exactly.
I know, like for myself, I listen to all the pretty much 90s and before. It's just how I am, and because I went to high school in the 90s, so.
No, you guys are just a bunch of kids.
I don't feel that much of a kid. I'll be 42 on Saturday, so.
I kind of roll out of bed sometimes and aches and pains.
That's right. It's like, oh, my back.
Or young skirt.
Yep.
Actually, I threw my back out a month ago.
Mm-hmm.
I was brushing my teeth, and I was like reaching for my cup, and I think I sneezed or something.
Oh yeah.
And then I threw my back out.
Yep.
That happens. That happens all the time with me. I just a hard sneeze and just like just tightened up.
Yep. And then you can't move. It's like everything is like so much pain.
Right.
It's like, oh my God, what am I gonna do?
Right.
I was gonna say. So you mentioned that you got a degree in nursing, and you decided. Why did you decide to do comic books as opposed to kind of going and being a nurse?
I've always wanted to be like a comic book artist or a book illustrator, but it was coming from a very typical Korean Asian family. They put tremendous pressure on me to become a doctor or an engineer, and my older brother became an engineer, and then and my parents put so much pressure on me to become a doctor. Instead, I kind of went into nursing school because it was shorter program, and I'm surrounded by women, and I look good in white.
Like a champ.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why I went to nursing school, just to get my parents off my back.
But do they know how like popular you are with any comic book related items? I mean, do they know? They're like, oh my God, this is my son.
No, Asian parents are brutal. They don't give a shit. It's all about money to them, So my parents just give me hell for the longest time because I was drawing comics. I was doing Liberty Meadows. I was a syndicated newspaper cartoonist. They didn't give a shit about that. And then I was working at Marvel. They didn't care. I mean, they really cared when I first bought a house.
You have property.
And then they realized,
they set that high expectation.
Yeah, he's actually successful, because my mom used to tell me to get a real job, use my nursing degree, get a real job at the hospital, and do my little cartooning, for fun over the weekend. And and it's just like, I mean, I love my mom, but Jesus Christ, woman,
You need to take her to cons where there's like lines around the block waiting for you.
Just gawking and just staring like, that's Frank Cho. Oh my God.
Years ago, you had a Kickstarter for this little beauty.
Oh, okay,
yeah. I ended up getting this mainly because of, and I still got it somewhere in here. I got, if I can find the right one. Where is she? This beautiful piece.
Oh my God.
Oh,
Ivy Doom Kitty.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Thank you, by the way, for this. I also got that ass.
That ass.
It's somewhere else.
That's the special ingredient wheat cakes. I know it.
That's kind of where I ran into you from because of her. And I was just kind of curious, how did that all kind of come about?
I mean, like I've known John Flesk for a while, for about almost 20 years at this point. About 15 years, and so he and I, we're just good friends. And then when he started his publishing company, he contacted me. I was like one of his first contacts to do an art book, and we've been talking about it for a while. And I wanted to do almost like a how-to book, because I get so many people asking me, how do you draw the female figure faces, and then and I would show them how, and then I basically would write down, eventually start writing notes, and I decided, you know what, I'm gonna just pull the trigger, just do a how-to book, because people are asking me nonstop, how do you do this, how do you do that? So I basically took all my notes and illustrated it, and it was kind of a half how-to book and half art book. Yeah. And launched it as a Kickstarter, and then it took off like a rocket.
Yeah. I still can't draw. I tried copying your art. I can't draw.
Right.
Stick figure, I can get a little booty on there. That's about it.
Right.
But I'm curious, did you take your background in nursing and kind of use that towards your learning how to draw and stuff? I mean, or enhance your drawing, I guess.
Anatomy for sure, right?
I mean, it basically enhanced my understanding of the anatomy a little bit more. But no, I mean, most of it is I was self-taught as a kid. Like one of the big books I started learning by copying was How to Draw the Marvel Way by by John Buscema and Stan Lee. So I would copy John Buscema's drawing. Every page I would copy it, and then I guess just from the sheer act of copying, you start learning. And then so when I was a kid, I would copy everything. I mean, I went through a big John Byrne phase where I would copy all these John Byrne drawings, Alpha Flight, Fantastic Four, X-Men, and John Buscema. I mean, the guy that I really looked up to and was copying was Don Newton, Batman.
Okay.
And then and then Frazetta and Al Williamson. So you just keep practice drawing, and eventually you just kind of absorb everything. Mm-hmm. You absorb all of their style and their anatomy, and then slowly becomes your own style after a while. So you basically, as you keep working, you kind of start mentally kind of like throwing away stuff that doesn't work for you, and it's weird. I mean, like once you stop trying to ape like another artist, once you stop doing that, your style comes out.
Okay.
So you take off just all this inspirations, and all those inspirations eventually become you. You create your own style. Yeah.
Right. So I mean, like, to be honest with you, I mean, like I really don't feel that my style didn't come out until like about 12 years ago. I mean, like Shauna the She-Devil was a mess. I mean, I look at that thing and I'm like, God, this is terrible.
Really? Oh my God, I love it.
I think she's freaking
right.
sexy.
I thought my style didn't really start coming out until Mighty Avengers, and that was like 2007, around their time.
I can see that.
Yeah.
That's when I started discovering your art. Yeah.
And then I thought the work that I'm really proud of is the new Ultimates that I did with Jeff Loeb. I thought that's the book that a lot of people overlook, but I feel that was like the most I really, put into.
So just referring to that, I love that work, and you put so much detail. It reminded me of like George Perez when he would have like cracks in like the armor. I mean, I could see all those details that you put into that particular series. It was amazing.
Actually, George Perez wasn't my inspiration or influence. The guy that I really was looking up to is Jeff Darrow. So, like, if Jeff Darrow, he did Hard Boiled, Rusty, and
oh shit,
Big Boy, is it? Rusty and Big Guy and Rusty.
Yeah, I know what you're talking
Shaolin Cowboy.
Yes, I remember.
Yeah.
That.
So Jeff Darrow is like my favorite artist right now.
Oh, I'm gonna have to check that out.
Yeah, me too.
So yeah, so like New Ultimates is my favorite work that I've done at Marvel. It's not Mighty Avengers or Savage Wolverine. It's New Ultimates, and Savage Wolverine is a close second.
You could tell though, like that was great, but I love Savage Wolverine because I'm a big Wolverine fan.
Right.
Yeah.
And just some of those covers you look at, you're just like, how long did it take you to do these covers? Because I'm looking at it going, Jesus, these things are amazing.
It takes me about 2-3 days, because I would like, I guess Savage Wolverine was right around the time that I was really start experimenting with different medium, So I would like do the ink drawing of Wolverine, and in the background it would be like a ballpoint pen or watercolor and stuff like that. So I was just mixing stuff up. So Savage Wolverine is the one that I was like really start just playing around.
And I definitely think that's one you're more underrated, just because when everyone, at least when I think of you as an artist, I think you as the female figure.
Right.
But doing something like Wolverine, when you did it, it was just like, okay, this guy's got some serious fucking chops.
Right.
I mean, you did some other great stuff prior to that, but it was like you're doing a male figure and you're going and doing it just as amazing as you do Jean Grey.
Right. Thank you.
You're welcome. I mean, it's like I said, we're all huge fans of you. So
right.
It's one of those things where it's great. There's some amazing artists out there.
Right.
But you're one of those artists that can do different things.
Oh, thanks.
And a lot of people see for this one thing, but it's like, yeah, dig deeper. You find some great stuff, like the old Liberty Meadows stuff is even fun to read and
right. I mean, I was at Marvel for 14 years, and the two books that I regret not doing is Fantastic Four, because I was a huge John Byrne Fantastic Four fan.
Yeah.
And Stan Lee, Jack Kirby, the original run. So I was a huge fan of that. So, and I never really got a chance to do Fantastic Four. And another big project that I really wanted to do was Conan, but Marvel lost the license to Dark Horse. So I never got to do Conan. And
that's crazy.
I'd love to see you on Savage Avengers now.
Right. So those two projects I kind of regret not giving the chance, when I was at Marvel. At TC, the book that I really wanted to do was actually two books. Was Swamp Thing, because I was a huge fan of Bernie Wrightson's Swamp Thing.
Right.
And I'm also a big horror guy. I love horror. And
I'm right there with you.
And I love Lobo, especially Simon Bisley's Lobo run. So I kind of wish I had, I could have done like a Lobo one shot or something like that. So those two projects at DC, I kind of regret not,
Lobo's one of those characters that's just so underrated.
Right.
And I could see you having a fun time with Lobo.
Right. And actually, there's another story that I really wanted to do, but it just didn't happen. Is this kind of like a Wonder Woman story? It was a Wonder Woman, Supergirl, Power Girl team up story that I wrote, and for I pitched it to them, and then for whatever reason, I'm not sure what happened. I think it was like Dan and Jim Lee, Dan DiDio and Jim Lee kind of said, well, let's do this other thing first. They kind of segued me into but I think, if they just, let me do it, give me the green light, I think it would have been like a top seller.
Oh, yeah.
That's another
my
story.
Money. You take my money.
That's another story that I wrote backward. I started with the ending. So so it's actually really cool. and so they're like really great scenes with basically I wrote Wonder Woman as Captain America, and Power Girl as kind of like She-Hulk type character, and Supergirl as kind of like a Spider-Man, kind of like a young energy to it, So, and they're basically going a secret mission to save Superman, and so it's actually a really great scene where it's like really great sequence, because I don't like Superman. I think Superman's a pussy.
Yes.
I agree.
The do-gooder of them all.
He's a strong pussy.
Yeah.
God, I've one of my good friends is a huge Superman fan.
Right now, Frank, you're hurting him.
I always hurt him because I give him hell all the time. He's a New York Giants fan,
Right.
a Mets fan, and a Superman fan. I'm just like, you just want pain, don't you?
Right.
You just want like the three crappiest things possible.
Right. So I mean, it's like great sequence where I really wrote. I don't write genders. To me, when I write characters, I don't see gender. I just like write them as, different personalities. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Whether they're male or female, it doesn't even come into it. So I wrote like Wonder Woman as a complete and utter badass. She doesn't take any shit. And like her basically mentality is like, the quickest way from point A to point B is through you, And so they're in this like really time sensitive mission, and she is just like crazy. I mean, she got the I don't know, I made up this freaking magic sword that she got from the Amazon,
Oh my god!
And she is just like, they have to save Superman. So they got to go through all these levels, and it's just like, it's like game of death. She's just like
gonna say that.
and she's just like killing everything, just level by level. She's just killing everything, and I thought it was great, and I think DC passed on it.
You should write a story like that, or just use different characters and not use like a Wonder Woman or just like a Wonder Woman type.
Well, I mean, the thing is, there are a couple of elements in the story that is like tied to a
The mythos.
To a certain DC character. So if it's just a generic character, as a stand-in, it doesn't work.
Mm-hmm.
So who knows? I may actually just just write and draw the whole thing, and then just like give it to DC and say, you guys can publish it or you don't.
So speaking of mythos, where did the wheat cakes come from?
Oh God, wheat cakes. Spider-Man is my favorite character.
JR. Okay, Frank, why? Okay, now just to kind of derail a little bit, why is Spider-Man your favorite character?
Is because he's funny. I mean, I grew up reading Spider-Man when John Romita Jr. and Roger Stern was writing it. So this is the first time John Romita Jr. was doing his first rotation as Amazing Spider-Man. So they caught me at that right age, and I loved it. I mean, the humor, and he's not like Superman or Batman where they can fix everything. You know? Spider-Man will mess up. He will screw up. Fuck up. He'll get his ass
cry
kicked
afterwards.
Yeah, and he'll and then he's running around dealing with like real life problems like paying the rent. Have to get the medicine to Aunt May.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. So I really love that. And then this is like in the early 80s. Marvel started publishing Marvel Tales, which was reprinting all the Steve Ditko, Stan Lee original Spider-Man. Yeah. So I read the original Spider-Man through the reprints, and I loved it even more, And so Spider-Man just connected me at that age,
We we applaud about that because JR on a weekly basis goes out of his way to talk shit about Spider-Man.
Like, there's a new issue of Spider-Man that came out last week, and he got his neck snapped, and I had the biggest shit-eating grin afterwards. That's how twisted I am.
To be honest with you,
it was like his birthday present.
Yeah, you would never tell. You could never tell that it was his birthday present. He was like, "Oh hell yeah, we got this group text going," and I'm just sitting there like, "What a hater." Give Pete some love, for God's sake.
Pete's banging Mary Jane.
Right? Yeah. He's blessed.
Yeah, exactly.
JR's just jealous, Always the bridesmaid, never the bride,
So the wheat cake came from the original Spider-Man, when Uncle Ben was, he's like Peter's flexing his arm, and Uncle Ben is like, checking out his muscle and say, "Hey, don't feed him too much, I can't wrestle him anymore," or something like that, and then they made a reference to wheat cakes, and so I thought that wheat cakes was just so funny to me.
Yeah.
And then I just started using that in my sketch covers, it started out with the outrage stuff, and then it kind of segued into wheat cake stuff. And now it's just like people can't get enough of wheat cakes,
I want a healthy order myself, Frank. Right in front of my face, live and in charge.
We need that recipe.
Yeah,
actually, a couple of fans, which show was it? Was it Dallas? It was a Mark Walters show in Texas somewhere. It might be Dallas or Arlington or something like that. A couple of fans made wheat cakes. They actually dug up the recipe. Essentially, it's buckwheat cake.
Yeah.
And so they made it, and say they brought it to me at my signing, and they say, "Hey, we made wheat cakes for you. Would you like to try it?" Here I am. Like they could have poisoned it.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
But here I am. I was like, "Oh, all right, let's try it." So like the three of us, we got paper plate and we ate wheat cakes at my table.
That's awesome.
That's funny.
Johnny Cakes, gotta love.
And and it wasn't bad. I mean, it's tasted like just regular buckwheat cake. So
great.
God, there's a photo of me eating it.
I'll dig that up and put that on here. I'll find it.
Right.
Yeah, because I actually got lucky. I saw one of your pieces when I think it was New York Comic Con in like 2015.
Right.
Where someone had got it, and I was just like, wow. It was just, I want to say it was a She-Hulk one that I saw.
Yeah, and it's just funny how like I seem to kind of stumble into what's popular, or I make it popular,
Yeah.
I mean, like I stumble into the whole Shauna the She-Devil, and then the whole kind of that Jungle Girl genre just kind of exploded again. And then, and then Deja Thoris, the Edgar Rice Burroughs, Deja Thoris, I started drawing that as fun, and then people picked up on it. And then I did the whole dinosaur thing, and then dinosaur kind of got, popular again. And then outrage thing, which was it was me just kind of like thumbing my nose at all the prudes over the Monera cover. And I didn't really expect anything of it, and then that just kind of took off like a rocket. And then wheat cakes, again, it was just for fun, and then it just like caught on, and just like wheat cake this, wheat cake that.
Do you have, I think I saw somewhere, you have a collected edition, right, of all of the outrage and some wheat cakes?
Yeah,
right?
Most of it, yeah.
Where can we get that?
Go to sequentialart.com.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so it's essential sequential.
Right. Essential sequential. So they have it. I think selling out. I mean, I think they told me they only got a couple of boxes left. So I'll send you the website. I'll text you the website.
Oh, that's perfect.
All right.
That's perfect.
That definitely would be awesome.
So I got a question. I know everyone asks you, what's your favorite character to draw? What's your favorite piece of anatomy do you like to draw?
It depends on the day. I mean, right now it's the ass.
Dad ass.
Where's your mind, sir?
I mean, it fluctuates. It's the boobs or the ass, and just go back and forth, you know.
Yeah, they usually go back and forth.
Yeah,
Makes sense.
exactly. The whole ATM,
Yeah. That is perfect.
So, Frank, I was wondering, in looking at some of your DC work, I really, two covers really kind of spoke out to me, and just the details here.
Yeah.
I think this is absolutely amazing. The face-off with Harley Quinn and Punchline, but I also like this as well. I mean, this is just beautiful.
Well, thank you.
And I just wanted to know, where did you start as far as in that drawing process? Where did you start? Where did you come up with the ideas, for these covers? Because, I mean, these really are amazing. I mean, so detailed, and I mean, they're just so unique. And I'm just a huge fan. So I just wanted to know, what was the process in drawing that?
It's weird. I really don't know. I mean, like, some of the ideas just pop in my brain completely fully formed. And it's just me just translating that image in my mind down onto the paper. But most of the time it's just, I have this image of this one figure. Once I have that one figure down, then it just kind of like, from that one figure, it kind of branches out the image, almost like, like a water droplet. It just kind of spreads. And that Punchline cover was that Punchline #1 cover.
Oh yeah,
with all the horsemen coming out. That was that. I had the image of Punchline holding the knife and pointing out, like touching the tip, saying "get the point." So that image just popped in my brain, and then as I was drawing it, these images of the 4 horsemen just start coming out. The more I drew the figure, it started kind of like coming out. And then and that's what I did, but with that Harley Quinn #75 cover, that image just came out fully formed. It was just like, boom, it was in my mind. And then, so it's, I don't know how to explain to you. I mean, it's just the way, I guess, just the way my brain works, So, but those images that comes fully formed, those are always they're pretty rare, but most of the time it's just, I have part of the image down, and then just at the act of drawing and sketching, the rest will come out.
Thank you very much for kind of giving us a breakdown on that. I mean, this really spoke to me. Walking through my LCS, those two covers just popped out at me immediately,
right.
And I just wanted to kind of get the gist of your process. So thank you for that.
Well, I mean, so the background image is all like ink line work, and so I'm a big fan of Franklin Booth. So I discovered Franklin Booth through Bernie Wrightson's Frankenstein. And so when I was a kid, when I looked at Bernie Wrightson's Frankenstein, it just blew me away. And then I was reading, and then Bernie said that he was inspired by Franklin Booth. And then like a bloodhound, I started like digging through the library looking for Franklin Booth. And then that's when I discovered Franklin Booth, and then saw that what he was doing. So the Punchline and the Harley Quinn cover, the background image, I was trying to, it was inspired by Franklin Booth, all that line work.
Yeah, it's amazing. Very detailed.
Right.
I'm in love with it.
Yeah, and I can't wait to see that when you start doing like the horror type stuff you're talking about doing, because it's such a, at least for me, I see you do detail, but horror seems like a different genre for me. For you? And
God, horror was
interesting.
Horror was always my first love. It's God. You should see some of my. God, I wish I still had it. I had this sketchbook and actually notebook paper that I drew on in my middle school, and it was just like the whole zombie craze, from the from Romero's
right
Day of the Dead. No, the Day of the Dead with the helicopter and the zombie head. Yeah. It was the one at the mall.
Oh yeah,
the original one, the one at the mall. So I saw that and went to Arrow's videos store. Got the Betamax. A copy of it and watched it, and it was like so I started drawing all these like horror stuff as a kid, like middle school. So and then I saw John Carpenter's The Thing, one of the best horror movies ever made.
Yes, I have to agree, definitely.
And saw the Rob Bottin's special effects of the Thing, where it's like stretching and all that. I mean, the guy was freaking genius. I never saw anything like that in my life. I mean, when you're like, when you're like 6th, 7th grade, seeing that, it just blew my mind. And then, you have that, the Freddie Krueger, Nightmare on Elm Street, I think part 2, I think there's a scene where Freddie basically rips his, head, like the skin off his head.
Oh, yeah.
You see the pulsating blood, the brain. And I think that was Rob Bottin too.
Probably.
And
part 2 scary, man.
And then
stay with me.
And then I saw like Cameron's Aliens. I mean, I actually prefer the sequel more than the original.
It's one of the few sequels that's that way.
Right. And I remember Aliens was like one of the big moments in my life where it just kind of like blew my mind away, because I remember I was like 7th or 8th grade, because I saw 2 movies that afternoon. One was Aliens and one was Ferris Bueller's Day Off. 2 great movies.
Classics.
Wow, those are 2 completely different movies.
It's so different.
Yeah. I remember seeing it with my buddy Augie and Chris. We went and saw the movie. And back then, your parents just like go to the mall, spend the whole day, and so we watched 2 movies. And I remember saw Ferris Bueller's Day Off, and I thought it was hilarious. I thought it was like, and then we went to see Aliens like right after, because it was like literally it worked out perfect. You come out of one and then you go to the other one.
Yep.
And I remember it blew my mind that the concept of terraforming planets. It just like literally, I was like, holy shit, it's like, it just like blew my mind. And then you have the colonial Marines going in, and I'm like, holy crap. And then you have the power loaders where Ripley's in, like walking. I'm like going, it's just like one thing after another. And then there's the aliens, and then you have the Queen, and you're like going, holy, it's just like, it just kept, going, and my brain was like, oh my God, this is like just absolutely incredible. So I watch Aliens, every time I feel like uninspired, I watch Aliens,
Cool.
To get inspired. And
hopefully Marvel will let you do a cover now. They own the Aliens.
Do they? Oh yeah, that's right. They bought
the Queen alien is now a Disney princess.
She
might need some wheat cakes.
It's the Wicked Queen of Disney. The ultimate Wicked Queen.
Yeah.
No, that's Kathleen Kennedy.
Sorry. What's wrong with her?
I'm a Star Wars fan, and I just can't stand what she did with the last 3 movies.
With the what's that?
Rise of Skywalker, Jedi, and all that junk.
Yeah, actually, I just finished watching The Mandalorian season 1.
Oh, nice.
And what do you think?
What?
What do you think about The Mandalorian?
Oh, I thought it was great. I didn't know, like the first couple episodes, it was like pure spaghetti western.
Oh yeah.
And then it turned into Yojimbo, Lone Wolf and Cub, and so I like Star Wars. I don't love Star Wars.
Yeah.
So my buddy Mike McSwiggan, who's a huge Star Wars fan, so he was explaining to me about the black lightsaber at the end,
Oh yeah,
dark saber. Yeah.
And I was like going, Jesus, where did you find all that out? And he's like, oh, you need to see the Clone War and and all that crap. And so he was explaining to me, and he said, if you really want to see a really good Star Wars, see that, I guess, the animated, the Clone War stuff,
Yeah.
Actually,
it's a lot of backstory.
Right. So yeah, I really enjoyed The Mandalorian. And I haven't seen any of the season 2 yet because I don't have Disney Plus. I just wait until
wait till the season's over, then watch it get the Disney Plus for a month.
Right.
So I'm just curious. You said that AWS or the AWA Upshot book is coming out.
Right. Artist, writers, artisan.
That's what that stands for?
Artists, writers, artisans. Yeah.
Okay. Studio. I did not know that.
Yep.
So it is called what again?
Fight Girls.
Fight Girls.
When is that coming out? Because I need to get that on my saver.
So the COVID really screwed up the schedule. And also, actually, mostly it's my fault. I mean, it's just I got so sidetracked with doing covers. It was originally supposed to come out this year in at San Diego in the summer.
Yeah.
But I missed the deadline, or actually, I was going full steam and then COVID hit, and then I got the pencils down order. And then I could have just kept on going, but I stopped, because I had so much cover work.
Right.
And then I picked it back up, and then we're supposed to launch in January, this coming up January. But they decided, because I'm working on issue number 4 right now. It's a 5-issue miniseries. Mm-hmm. So I'm working on issue 4, and they decided, with the COVID going strong, they decided to kind of put it on hold a little bit. And they said they preferred that I finish all 5 issues before they launch, which is smart. So right now, the tentative launch date is June.
Okay.
June of next year.
Team Nerd Herd podcast viewers.
So I mean, the thing about giving me a flexible deadline is I'm not going to finish it until there's like a hard deadline.
So it's better if they would have said December 1st.
Right.
Like, okay, I'm done.
Because the problem is, like, if I have too much time, I keep tinkering, noodling and tinkering.
Yeah.
I'll have like a finished page drawn, and then I'll like, I could have done something a little bit better, and I will redraw the page, I would destroy the old page and redraw the,
Oh man.
So like I do that because I'm crazy, because like I'm like, I'm one of those guys that will burn the bridge, so I can't retreat. So when it comes to art, that's me,
Balls to the wall.
Yeah, I will like cut the rope off the boat and have it float away. And I'm charging in.
Oh yeah. I've done that plenty of times.
Right. So
now,
yeah, June.
Oh, we can't wait, Frank. Now, is there any handles or any things that you want to plug in any future projects, or can you tell our Team Nerd Herd podcast where they can follow you and find you on any social media outlets?
Instagram. I'm on Instagram, Frank Cho Artist. So I update it every day. So you get all the latest news up there. And also on Facebook, Frank Cho Artist. And
definitely follow him.
All right. So essentially, it's the same thing I put on Instagram, but you get a bigger image. It's not cropped, and it's like a square in Instagram, but in Facebook you get the whole image.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
okay.
Well, thank you very much, Frank. And would you like to send us our viewers off?
Fuck off.
There you guys heard it.
You heard it first from Frank.
DJ Abomination.